Good afternoon, everybody. It is Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV. We are here with you live to bring you coverage of this press conference coming up in 56 minutes and 35 seconds on the Idaho Firefighters shooting. Maybe we will hear some more about the suspect in the shooting. Some news outlets have identified the suspect, but I don't believe police have formally identified him yet. So we are going to bring you some live updates. We're going to have live video of the press conference for you. We're going to talk about the incident. We're going to take your comments on the air, and we will see what happens with this press conference. And let's see, what I want to do here is pull that up. That'll be helpful. There you go. Oops, what is this? Oh, that's something different. I appreciate you joining us today. And again, we'll have video of the press conference coming up for you, and then we'll talk about it after. Thanks to our moderators who are here, Ruth, Beth Mythical, Janet B. I see YouTube still hasn't fixed the screen name issue. Thank you for moderating over there, though. Also, thank you to our Twitch moderators. Hang on a moment here. Matthew Kohai 3 is moderating. Thank you. Linda Belk and Larry and Misha moderate for us on X. And our Facebook moderators, big thanks to you. Margaret Riley is there, Kay Lowry Body. Thanks to all of our moderators. Here is the announcement about the press conference right here. Oops, I'll show you. Kootenai County Sheriff Bob Norris will be holding a press briefing at 2 p.m. That's Pacific time. That is the time they are on there in Kootenai County. On June 30th at the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office North Campus in Hayden, Idaho. The purpose of the briefing is to deliver an update on the investigation currently underway following the Canfield Mountain incident. For those, I'm sure most of you know, but for those who don't, a man set a fire in Idaho yesterday so that firefighters would come. And when firefighters came, he shot 3 of them, killing 2 and critically injuring a 3rd. But we're going to have the new update from the police coming up. Reportedly, the suspect is 20 years old. Yes, 2 dead and 1. I haven't seen an update today on the 1, but as of yesterday, 1 was fighting for his life in stable condition after surgery. Point Avugli saw a quote from the suspect's grandfather. I'll have to look and see if I can find that. Our viewer Owl Hippie says, sad on so many levels. Callie Raven says it'll be interesting to see what they have found out since yesterday. Well, we'll know in about 52 minutes. Let me show you here. This is an AP story. A man lured Idaho firefighters to a mountain with a fire and then shot and killed 2, officials say. You can see here from AP, the suspect has been identified as Wess Roley, a law enforcement official told the AP Monday. Wess Roley. Some other outlets have him as a 20-year-old. Wess Roley, 20 years old. I'm not going to show photos of him at the moment because this is unconfirmed, but I would not be surprised if during the press conference they release an official photo of the person. Wess Roley, reportedly 20 years old. Andrew Codd says this happened 30 minutes from my house. It was huge news here. You know what, give me 1 second here. You can see there's a map here from AP. This is in northern Idaho. And then there's the city of Coeur where about 57,000 people live. Then Canfield Mountain is next to it, and it was at a popular hiking area in Canfield Mountain. You can see AP says as a wildfire began to sow panic in a small northern Idaho mountain community, a group of firefighters who rushed to put out the blaze instead found themselves in an unexpected shootout. A man who had intentionally set fire to ambush the crew was perched in a sniper position firing at the firefighters. They took cover behind fire trucks, but 2 died and a 3rd was wounded. As we played yesterday, first responders made urgent calls for help on their radios at Canfield Mountain, just north of Coeur d'Alene. Everybody shot up here. Send law enforcement now, according to one dispatch. The FBI used cell phone data to track the shooter, and the sheriff ordered residents to shelter in place. They eventually found the suspect dead in the mountains, his firearm beside him. As of last night, police had not confirmed how he died. He might have taken his own life. Maybe we'll find that out for sure today. You can see it is unknown how he died, and authorities have not yet revealed the motive. The suspect has been identified as Wess Roley, reportedly 20 years old. Canfield Mountain is a popular hiking and biking area on the outskirts of Coeur d'Alene, covered with trees and heavy brush and crisscrossed with trails that lead into a national forest. Chaz Martin says, can't believe a 20-year-old did this. Why is my generation losing their minds? Error Neocortex user says, why target firefighters? Let me get you a little more information here. Hang on a moment. Hang on one moment. And we will have the press conference live for you. Again, multiple outlets identifying the shooter as Wess Roley. Hold on a second here. What is this here? Oh. Hang on a moment here. Sonic mentioned something to me about the YouTube usernames. Wow. So YouTube, I hadn't seen this before. Thanks, Sonic. YouTube posted on X that YouTube handle is now the primary identifier for live chat, making it easier for viewers to recognize you and for mods to manage chat. Well, that's interesting. You can send feedback if you have thoughts about it. So lots of people in the YouTube chat a few days ago, their names just changed. So again, I'm looking at this right now. Thank you, Sonic, for sending this to me. This was posted 2 days ago by YouTube. They say YouTube handle is now the primary identifier for live chat. So if you're in YouTube and you had a username in the chat and it's now different, go look up and try to change, I guess, your YouTube handle if that's possible. Thanks to Sonic for letting me know. I guess it's not a mistake. One of our viewers said you can change it back. So maybe you can change the handle. I haven't looked into this, but I'm just letting people know. Hang on a moment here. We have about 45 minutes till the press conference. I will have video of the press conference. We'll be showing it live. We'll be taking your comments on the air. Now, the Daily Mail, I mean, a lot of times with an incident like this, the Daily Mail will have stuff where they like interview the suspect's family or something. I pulled up an article in the Daily Mail. Now, I can't confirm this stuff. They said, they did say, the Daily Mail, for what it's worth, that there's been no public social media profiles of this person found. I thought I maybe saw that he had an Instagram that had been taken down or something, but I'm not sure. So there's pictures of him on the Daily Mail. Again, I'm not going to show the pictures, A, because I don't have the right to them, and B, because he's not been formally identified by the police yet. But I have not seen myself any kind of social media profile post from him. I have not seen any kind of manifesto. A couple of our viewers are saying the family has social media. Now, I haven't seen it myself. I'm certainly not going to show that on the air. Some people said they found the family's social media. But, you know, and we'll have to see if the police give any new details on any kind of background or information they've gotten. Some of our viewers, like the Knights Palace, are saying it's odd for somebody of that age to not have social media accounts. Let me just give you a little background on this shooting, just for people to catch up if they were not following this yesterday. So you know what? AZ Intel. One of our viewers was mentioning a quote from the grandfather of the suspect. AZ Intel, who I follow on X, he found an article. He found a mention in NBC News of the grandfather. So NBC News said that some members of the suspect's family were stunned to hear that he was the suspect, and his grandfather said something must have snapped. And the grandfather told NBC News he really respected law enforcement and loved firefighters. Also, according to his grandfather, the suspect had attended high school in Phoenix, where his mom lives, had lived with his grandfather in Oklahoma for several months, and moved to Idaho last summer to be closer to his father. Also, the grandfather said that he was potentially interested in being a firefighter, and the grandfather said that his height might have prevented him from being a firefighter because he was 5'8". Anyways, I'll post a link to AZ Intel's post where you can find a link to the NBC News article if you want to read it. That's some quote. So again, NBC News talked to his grandfather. Now, one of our viewers, Ecoromio, said that claims his mom and dead stepdad had a restraining order on him. I have no idea if this is true. Somebody on social media today, in some post I saw, claimed there was some kind of restraining order. That I do not know. I've seen that claim floating around. So maybe, these would seem like the kind of questions that very well could either be addressed directly or asked about in this press conference. So we're going to hear from the police in less than 40 minutes now. Also, I saw someone said online that he might have had some sort of criminal record in the past, but I'm not sure about that. Oh, you know what I'll do? Let me check. There's another source I can check that might be good for this. I will say that according to the Spokesman Review, which is a Spokane publication, Washington, they say that they report that he has lived in his truck at some point during the last 2 years. Lucky, our viewer, heard that when he was around 10 years old, there was a protective order barring his father from contacting his family granted to his mother. I don't know if that's true. Or one of our viewers is saying that. I have no idea if that is true. How many weapons did he have? Other weapons out there? Maybe we'll find that out today. We know he had at least one. Oh, the New York Post has a fairly new report, and they say that the father of the suspect once threatened to start a fire and shoot his family with a sniper rifle. Also, I guess CNN talked to his grandfather. It sounds like his grandfather did a couple interviews. Hang on a moment here. His grandfather told CNN he wanted to be a fireman and he was pursuing it. The grandfather said that he owned a shotgun and a long rifle. I guess he said the grandfather said that the suspect had loving family and friends. CNN reports that there were some tumultuous parts to his family life. His mother filed for divorce in 2015 and said her husband had threatened her. Yes, and CNN reported that a judge granted a protective order to prevent Roley's father from having contact with his wife or son, but then removed the son. Again, this was in 2015, 10 years ago, according to CNN. Also, CNN reported that the suspect's father told a CNN reporter he wasn't close to his son. So, look, I don't know that any of this, I'm not telling you these are the reasons he did what he did. I'm just, some people asked about his background. So, you can check out the CNN site if you want to see a full article on this. But those are just a couple of things that they reported about it. A couple things that our chat had mentioned as well. Jay Dallin thinks no 20-year-old is capable of this professional of an ambush. Nikos says growing up with that kind of mess is no good. Sounds like the grandfather's given a couple different interviews to a couple different outlets. All right, so we're going to have coming up this press conference in 34 minutes. It's possible that I will get some video from the venue before it starts, which would be nice. But we're going to have live video. We're going to be taking your comments. We're taking your comments right now. You can write to me at @Lookner on X. I want to shout out our moderators. Oh, before I do that, I go a couple thank yous here. Thanks so much to Unit 285. I really appreciate it. Unit 285, thank you. Thank you to Bennett Dave 35. Thanks so much. T-Voss Olhead, thank you. Miss Curvy 6922, thank you. Deb N5646, Linda Cosma, Brandy 75. Thank you. In case you didn't hear, according to a post on YouTube, they are now using your handle. A post by YouTube says they're now using your handle as your screen name. So if your screen name changed, maybe you can adjust your handle. I have to look into this myself. I mean, my screen name is the same, but I guess my handle is the same. Anyway, so if you're seeing your screen name different, which a lot of you are, some of our viewers, I think, maybe have figured out how to change it back. I got all these regular viewers have numbers at the end of their names. The names got all messed up. Hey, thanks to our moderators, Keisha Fowler, Beth Mythical, over there on YouTube. I really appreciate it. And shout out to our Twitch mods, Bastion Girl, David Green, Matthew, Kohai 3. Hey, thanks also to Dark Crypto 800 for your support. Thank you. Over on Facebook, Margaret Riley, Kay Lowry Body, Shannon Davis Hughes, our new moderator. Thank you for moderating. Thanks, Aaron Van S, for subscribing. Aaron says maybe he was rejected by that fire department. We do not know. I haven't heard anything specific about that. We'll see what they say in the press conference. Thanks, Kay, Margaret, and also Shannon for being subscribers as well. Rita Emmons Lang, thanks for subscribing. Also on X, Linda Belk, Larry Misha, thanks for modding. Let me show you a little summary video about what happened. I have a little summary video here. We may have a little later on tonight. It's possible that, it's very possible we will cover the Senate vote on the one big beautiful bill, the spending and tax bill. That's going to happen sometime tonight or early morning. So we may cover that, certainly. I'm not sure about the timing on that. But I will be keeping an eye on it. Hey, let's look at, let's just review what happened yesterday. You can see here from Reuters, 2 firefighters killed in Idaho ambush, suspect dead. There's a little video I'm going to show you. A gunman ambushed and shot dead. 2 firefighters responding to a forest fire in northern Idaho on Sunday, wounding 1 other. And it's a fire that he is believed to have set himself. We do believe the suspect started the fire, said the press conference yesterday. This was a total ambush. The motive for the shooting was not known, at least as of yesterday. The shooter used a high-powered sporting rifle to fire rapidly at first responders. The suspect was found using a cell phone location information, and his body was removed by a SWAT team as the fire approached. Let me show you this short video kind of summarizing things here from Reuters. That goes with that article. I'm going to put it on the screen for you right now. Here we go. Short video for you. You can see that there. Hold on. I got to make it a little smaller, I think. Let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. The audio might only be in one ear, by the way. Let's see.
A gunman on Sunday ambushed and shot dead 2 firefighters responding to a forest fire in northern Idaho, wounding 1 other before the suspect was found dead hours later. That's according to the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Bob Norris said they believe the suspect started the fire to lure firefighters to Canfield Mountain, a popular outdoor area about 260 miles east of Seattle.
This was a total ambush. These firefighters did not have a chance.
Norris said law enforcement officers and firefighters came under sniper fire almost immediately after arriving on the scene in the early afternoon, and did not initially know where the gunfire was coming from or how many gunmen there were. Officers exchanged gunfire with the suspect, and after several hours, the suspect's body was located using cell phone location information. It was not clear whether he was hit and killed or if he killed himself. The motive for the shooting was not known, and Norris said officers were still working to identify the man. Norris said a 3rd wounded firefighter was fighting for his life after surgery and was in stable condition. Norris said the shooter used a high-powered sporting rifle to fire rapidly at first responders, but would not provide more details on weapons recovered. He said officers would likely find more guns at the scene on Monday, once the fire was extinguished.
There's a shot of the fire there from yesterday. Yeah, sorry, the volume was a little low on that. Sometimes with those videos, the volume's a bit low, so, but you could see the shots of the fire and some of the surroundings. You can see the kind of area it is around there. All right. Chaz Martin says, glad the fire didn't get out of hand. I haven't seen an update on the fire, but I mean, I haven't heard that it got out of hand. So since yesterday on the Sheriff's Department page, that's the press conference from yesterday. And then literally the next thing they posted was they're holding a press briefing at 2 p.m. local time, which is 5 p.m. Eastern time, which is in 27 minutes. So We'll see. We'll see what they have to say. Let's take some more comments from you guys. Classic Bob heard it was 26 acres and lines around the fire are complete. Let me see if I can confirm that, Classic Bob. Maybe it's, hold on a second here. Oh, hold on. Let's see. Oops. 1 sec. 1 second. I haven't seen that update about the fire myself. Yesterday was estimated at 20 acres. I believe I remember that from yesterday. Our viewer, Rebecca Blau, says this is crazy. Krista Azzolini says the fire is not out yet. Well, maybe we'll get a bunch more info in just 25 minutes. Stickler for Change says CNN interviewed someone who said it was 26 acres, I think. Oh, Watch Duty. That's a great idea, Chaz Martin. I forgot about it. We checked Watch Duty yesterday. Why don't I check Watch Duty? It's a great fire app and fire news website. Watch Duty. I got to sign in here. Where's the map? Where's the map? I signed in. Yes, I am signed in. Okay, now we got to go up here. This is Watch Duty. Here. No. Is it up here? Is it, do they have a record of it? Isn't it like right in here, right in this area here? What am I doing wrong? Let's see. Can I search it? Canfield? Oh, it is this. Right here. That's it right there. Canfield Mountain. Sorry. Oops. That's it right there. There's Coeur d'Alene. Nettleton Gulch, Canfield Fire. The fire is 29.9 acres per the perimeter uploaded to the National Interagency Fire Center, which is visible on the Watch Duty map under the Active Fire Perimeters layer. Well, let's look at that. Active Fire Perimeters. It says, oh, it's right there. Okay. That's right. We're seeing it. There it is. There's the fire perimeter. Again, this is the Watch Duty app. It's app.watchduty.org. Again, app.watchduty.org. It's a very cool it's a website and app. It's very good. So I highly recommend it. 29.9 acres. Watch Duty also reported that the Idaho Department of Lands posted Idaho Department of Lands fire update. Now this was at noon today. This was actually about an hour and a half ago. The Nettleton Gulch fire is currently about 26 acres. Last night, crews were able to establish hand lines on 2/3 of the west flank. The fire is burning in timber. Today, firefighters will continue building a fire line to minimize fire growth and installing hose lays to deliver water to the fire. There are no evacuations and no structures at risk. There are multiple engines working the fire, 2 water tenders, 2 20-person hand crews, and both rotor and fixed-wing aircraft assisting with water drops. Due to the steep terrain, the use of heavy equipment is limited. The fire was reported yesterday around 1:20 p.m. near the popular recreation area Canfield Mountain in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. The cause remains under investigation, but it's believed the suspect in the shooting caused it. Okay, and you know what? When I looked at that, I said, oh, I wonder if on the flight radar we can see any helicopters above there. Here's flight radar 24. Yes, it looks like we can. Here is that's a helicopter there, and that's one there. That is a Black Hawk helicopter. I don't know if either of these are firefighting helicopters. But it looks like maybe this helicopter is picking up water and then dropping it. I'm not sure. But I do see these two in the area. Let me look up this one, see what I see. This helicopter, this N82WL, I think was out there yesterday. Mr. Fire Bear says Bells and Black Hawks both get used for bucket work. Well, maybe they're both being used. That one, look at this one. This is a plane that is just flying in circles. Is that maybe that's a fire observation plane? Possibly, I'm not sure. There's that one too. I can check also. So that's you can find all that on flightradar.com. Sorry, flightradar24.com. Flightradar24.com. And then you can see here ADSB Exchange has the plane like there, and it has this helicopter here. So you can check out adsbexchange.com too. Both great flight trackers. Billy McFly thinks the Black Hawk is a firefighting service. Eddie C says, I'm surprised the fire is still burning. Hey, thanks to Allison Hargroves. Thank you, Allison. Thanks again also to the BC Preacher, who yesterday, he was at the press conferences. He allowed me to purchase his use of his stream, which was great, so we could see the press conferences yesterday. That was really nice of him. The BC Preacher on YouTube. We have about 17 and a half minutes till this press conference. In a few minutes, I might get like an early shot of the room. I'm hoping to. So as soon as I have video from the press conference venue, I will put it on the screen. Thank you also for the memberships, BBG 512. Thanks so much. Also, thanks for subscribing, One in the Sky. One in the Sky. All right, we are bringing you live coverage, bringing you updates. Again, the suspect has The suspect has been identified by multiple media outlets as Wess Roley, 20 years old. I don't believe the police have formally identified him, but we probably, I'm guessing, will have that happen in the press conference today. Yes, I am aware. Some viewers have sent me photos of purported photos of the suspect. I'm not going to be showing any photos, A, because I don't have the rights to them, and B, because he hasn't been officially named yet. But maybe they'll have some in the press conference. Yes, 20 years old. I don't believe that there's been any kind of an official announcement by the police of the suspect's name. There's a bunch of stories that say, like this one, a law enforcement official told AP the suspect is Wess Roley. The official spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss the investigation. Yes, only three were shot, and 2 died, and 1 was fighting for his life yesterday. Thank you to Sharon Heberling for watching today, by the way. Oh, look, I have video. Guys, I already have video of the press conference room right now. We're gonna bring you video of the room already. Hold on a second. Check this out. There is the room. Look at that. We have our video already. Live from Hayden, Idaho. How about that? You know what we got to do? I never do this. Can I make this work? We never do this thing anymore. Live. We got some volume there. That's good. Bluesy Girl says, so sad his life and the firemen can't not imagine all the family's heartbreak. No motive has been released yet. Lady and the Pug thinks the whole thing is sketchy. Mojave dude saw photos of the victims. You know, I didn't even see that yet. I don't believe the victims have been publicly identified. Last I checked, by officially identified. Although that might happen today as well. Thank you, by the way, to Craig Gessick. For being a member. Oh, they're doing white balance, it looks like.
Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That sounds good.
The what? No, only one language.
Soka Deb
1,
says hopefully.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. You good?
Soka Deb says hopefully they give us a bunch of information in the press conference. I felt the one last night could have given more to us, says Soka Deb. Thank you, Ellen Bridges, our new member. Andrew Codd, our viewer, says anti-government sentiments run deep in North Idaho. That's what our viewer thinks. Peter Booth says, I would think everyone will be identified at this press conference. J.K. Senar says, a very troubled young man. Hey, thanks again to Allison Hargroves. Thanks for all your support, Allison Hargroves. I really appreciate it. Thank you. The Sean Diddy Combs verdict, it is possible we will do coverage of that. That's possible that we'll cover that when the jury reaches a verdict. It's very possible. Got about 8.5 minutes. Thanks, Isaiah Robertson, for being a member, and 5 Code. Oz Dark Dater says, is the picture and name of the suspect being shared actually true? Multiple news outlets are reporting the name and age. Wess Roley 20. A bunch of, given a bunch of the outlets that are posting pictures, my guess is that the pictures are legit. That would be my guess. But I'm not going to be showing them here. But we very well might get a picture from the authorities. But my assumption, given the number of outlets that are running them, is that they're true. Thank you, Rod Rilichan, too. Thank you. Will they, our viewer Misham says, is there any proof about the shooter's political beliefs? I've seen people speculating about it online. I don't know that we have detailed, reliable information on that. So, 6, 7 minutes. There you go. They just said it right now. That's good. 6, 7 minutes. Started on time last night, I believe. Hang on. One moment. What's going on here? Okay. There we go. Thanks also to Patricia Banks. Thank you, Patricia. After the press conference, we will take your comments on it. We're going to hear what you have to say in the chat. You can also message me at Lookner on X, but we will be taking your comments after the press conference. Our viewer Dirt Mover thinks they'll play it close to the chest when releasing info. Dirt Mover doesn't expect to hear anything new. That's what our viewer said. Maybe who knows, maybe they'll have some information about a motive, or say they've found some writings or heard something from family, I don't know, or maybe not. Thank you, Rod Rillichan. Thank you, Rod. Our viewer Anara says, I think there is no need to play it close to the chest. The shooter is dead. Was he alone, says Kilco? Yes, he is believed to be the only person, only shooter. They have not said anyone was with him. Now, our viewer, Kristen J, said there was a fire department press conference later, a couple hours later. I don't know that we'll cover that, but thank you for mentioning it. Thanks, Patricia Banks. Thank you, Patricia. Buddha said, why did they say there was shooting from more than one direction? Well, I think in the first press conference yesterday, they were saying that is what they heard. In the first press conference yesterday, they were saying that they had heard that. But, you know, it's possible that, who knows, maybe people heard echoes or, you know, frequently when, I would say fairly regularly when we cover shootings, there is talk of multiple shooters, and then it turns out that there's one shooter. Thanks Selvanave, 1981, for being a member. Brad T says, shooting in a wooded area, the echoes make it sound like it's coming from all over when it's not. Guys, I think we got about a minute left. The camera is zooming in. Chris N says, curious about his weapons stash. All right, I think we're about to start here. I'm going to get the clock off the screen. We don't need the clock anymore.
Good afternoon. We'll do a sound check. June the 30th, approximately 2 p.m. Everybody hear me okay? Anything we need to adjust? Lighting okay? We're good? Okay, I'm not seeing any people raise their hands, so we're good.
Right on time. How about that, guys?
All right. My name is Sheriff Robert Norris, Norris, and what we'd like to accomplish today here at this press conference is, when you leave here today, I want you to know who the suspect is, know what we know about the suspect right now, I'll give you a fire update of where the fire is right now, and some of the challenges that we had in making a containment on a 3.2 square mile mountain. And to let you know, got a jumper off of Veterans Bridge, and we'll give you just a little bit of information on that. So the suspect that has been identified by our Kootenai County Coroner's Office, Coroner Duke Johnson there, has been identified as Wess Roley, date of birth of May 1st, 2005. As of right now, and this is all very, very preliminary, we've had a lot of resources at the crime scene. We've been working through the night, so many of these facts are subject to change. We believe that Roley has prior residence in California, Arizona, and Idaho. We believe he was born in California. The Kootenai County Sheriff's Office and Coeur d'Alene Police Department, we've had 5 interactions with Roley. And of those 5 interactions, we've had 3, Coeur d'Alene Police had 2. They're very, very minor in nature. They had to do with more trespassing. He was trespassing at a location. He was asked to leave, and he cooperated. We had some welfare checks on Roley, and very, very minor. We don't show any criminal history for Roley. We do have some social media presence for for Roley. We find it disgusting to call him a Mr., but we don't have any much to go on. Here's some of his social media postings that were recently removed from social media. I believe this one was Instagram, and we have some copies of this that Lieutenant Mark Ellis will distribute. Where we're at with the crime scene. The crime scene is active. We still have the suspect's vehicle that is up down an embankment of the mountain. Deputies who responded on scene to protect life and engage the suspect thought it would be in their best interest to get rid of what they thought was Roley's vehicle. So they had the frame of mind to push it over the side so he couldn't come around and get in that vehicle and flee. So we have not been able to find any manifesto. We have not been able to inventory the vehicle, although people that have seen the vehicle do believe it appeared as if he was living in the vehicle. There was a lot of debris that's in the vehicle, so that's all we have on that. Like I said again, we have not verified or found any manifesto. We have not done an inventory of that vehicle. I'd like to give you an update on the fire that we believe Roley started. Roley was found to be in possession of a flint starter, and we believe that was his method for starting the fire that eventually led to firefighters responding. So as of right now, the fire is at 26 acres. It has not grown. It is a slow progress because it's very difficult terrain to get assets, ground assets up there. Idaho Department of Lands is putting a lot of water on it from aerial supports, so that's going rather well. They believe they'll have a fire line around it by dark tonight. There are no structures that are threatened. Again, I'd like to say that last night about 11 p.m., we did receive information that an individual jumped from Veterans Bridge. That is not related to this situation whatsoever. We don't find any nexus to the murdering of the two firefighters and injuring of one. Now, we have some of our incident commander who was here last night. That was the incident command of the scene. We have some of our SWAT operators that were here last night, and we had about 27 containment points on this mountain. And just to give you an idea, when you're setting up a containment in an urban setting, you might have 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks that you're setting up a containment on. But when you are setting up on a mountain, that just provides a lot more difficult dynamics than if it were a city block. So we, to the 27 containment points, we had 2, 3, 4 officers per containment point. And then we have a primary containment point where we believe the suspect is. And then we have a secondary containment point. And we absolutely utilized every resource that responded to the command post. And I do have the incident commander from last night if there's any questions. Kevin and Jeremy Heil, Kevin Smart, can you come up here just to be here just in case somebody has any questions? And
coming up, can I ask one question?
Yeah.
You mentioned that there was no fire record. Are you talking specifically in Idaho, or is this also for California and Arizona?
at this time, we can't locate a criminal record for this individual. We've had interactions with him, but we don't find a criminal record with him. Also, we don't find that there's any nexus to any Islamic Jihad, which is also being disseminated on social media. We don't find that there's a nexus to that either. Yes, we're going to take questions.
Alex with the spokesman review. So are we clear, did the suspect die by suicide or was he shot by police? Do you know that?
It appears that he shot himself. Yes.
Do you know if he was stockpiling weapons up there or why he was on the
We're-
mountain specifically? One gun, multiple guns?
We have information that he at one time wanted to be a firefighter. So we don't know if there's a nexus to that desire and what happened yesterday, but there is information that we've received that he at one time wanted to be a firefighter. So we're still processing the scene. It's going to take a few days to do that, especially with the current fire that's there. So, John?
Sheriff, have they had any communication with the fire district about a potential job there?
We have checked some of the fire entities here, and we have not located where he had either put in an application or put in some sort of a interest form. We have not found that yet. So that, yeah, we have not found that.
One more question. There's supposed to be a video on Instagram. Was this posted right before the ambush?
Well, it was discovered right before, but I don't know how long it had been there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any indication of the motive?
Yeah, no, we don't have any indication of any motive at this time. And we, certainly we will continue to investigate that, but obviously we go on intent, and so but we will certainly find out, or if there's any evidence to believe that there was a motive, we will do that. And I think an inventory of the vehicle would be a good place to start.
Do you think his desire to potentially become a firefighter is part of this?
We just don't know. Yeah, we just don't know. The gentleman.
These firearms, is that been determined yet? If
What?
these were his firearms that were used, or were they someone else's?
Has not been determined yet. Lady in the green.
Sheriff Cody Proctor with Country News. You mentioned that he had interactions before with law enforcement, but had he had interactions before with firefighters?
We did not check to see if he had any interaction with firefighters. We do know that he did contact the firefighters when they came on scene, and there was a discussion. So, so we're still in the process of investigating that part of it. So, gentleman in the blue in the back.
Sheriff, so talk to me about why you're sharing this Instagram post. Talk to us. What does it look like when you're looking at it, so what it symbolizes to the public?
Well, we're trying to collect any and all information, and those social media posts are what we call open source information. So this is all in an effort to find out intent, to find out if there was any other, if there was a motive or whatever the case may be. But
And another question. We had some people that live in the area of the evacuation zone last night or this shelter in place. They say they didn't get a phone call, they didn't get a text. How does your system work? Was there a text that went out, or how did you let people know?
yes, absolutely. Part of our Kootenai alerts system, we sent out a text, I believe a 5-mile radius, and I encourage people who live or frequent the area to sign up for Kootenai alerts. So,
that's an opt-in service?
well, yes, yep. The gentleman in the blue.
Sure. The welfare checks that you guys initiated,
Yep.
were they given by a relative? Did a parent call you to check on him? Or are they concerned about his mental health?
No, it was generally a reporting party who called and saw a vehicle that was either parked near their property or on their property. One was a restaurant where he appeared to be residing at. He was asked to leave, and he complied. So none of them that we have at this time were called in from a relative. They were called in from a property owner or passerby. The gentleman there in the...
Sheriff, can you describe the weapon that you found next to him?
It appears right now we have a shotgun that was used, but we're still processing the scene.
So obviously a shotgun is not a sniper weapon.
Correct.
Do you know what kind of weapon that was?
Well, we're still processing the scene, but let me kind of set the scene for everybody. When you're in a rural area and you're heavily treed, heavily brushed, and when you're taking fire, then it just adds a whole different dynamic to the situation. So what was reported by people on scene, by peace officers on scene, that they believed they were taking sniper fire, yes. And that's where that is. Lady in the black.
Hi. Was he a suspect before you found him, or did you not identify him until after you found his remains?
Can you give me that first part again?
Was he a suspect prior to finding his body, or were you not sure who he was until after you found his remains?
Well, We had information that we had an idea who that person might be, but we always defer to the coroner's office to make sure that we have a positive identification on the individual. People borrow people's car, people use people's phones. Yeah, so we always want to make sure that we have a positive identification before we make any type of release. So this lady.
Are you able to identify yet if Wess was the person who called 911, who made the initial 911 call?
Still under investigation. If that is the case, he did not use his real name. So, but it certainly will be part of the investigation. But we had an individual called, a male, and he did not use the suspect's name. So.
And one more clarification, because I think I misunderstood. Did you say there was an interaction with first responders?
There was an interaction with the firefighters.
When they first arrived on the scene?
Correct.
What was that?
It had something to do with his vehicle being parked where it was. So, yeah. The gentleman in the blue in the back.
Sheriff, can you tell us what type of bullets then were used in the attack on the two or three firefighters? It's obviously something shot.
Right. Well, we know that some rifled slugs were used, and a rifled slug is a pretty big projectile. Anybody know off the top of their head how many grains a rifled slug is? No.
What gauge is 1 ounce?
Yeah. So generally going to be a 1 ounce piece of metal. But we also have some fragmentation of something. So it's still early on. You know, we have some smaller projectiles, and we don't know if that was a fragmentation of one of the rifled slugs or another weapon. Like I said, we are still processing that scene. The firefighters are putting water on it, so we're still processing that. Yes, sir.
Sheriff, can you tell us how sophisticated you think this ambush was? Or do you think this was an interaction that went badly? And one more thing, we were just right outside the scene, and we saw a firefighting vehicle come down with 3 completely flat tires. Were spikes used? Was that part of the ambush?
No, part of once the rounds started to exchange back and forth, and when deputies got on the scene, part of the theory was we don't want him to be able to circle back around and get into either one of the fire trucks or his own vehicle. So deputies disabled the trucks, and they pushed over the suspect vehicle off the side of the mountain.
I mean, that just gives you a sense of how chaotic the moment must have
Oh,
been.
yeah, yeah.
Disabling and crippling your own vehicles so that the suspect that's unseen and elusive wouldn't be able to circle back and use it.
Right, and we just don't, you know, we just don't know in many cases, even if it's in an urban setting in a retail shopping center, how many suspects there are, because we're going to get different information, and we have to be able to evaluate that information to see what's credible, what's not credible. We always want to err on the side of caution, but initial reports were there was more than one suspect. Right here in the.
I just want to make sure I'm completely clear on this. So at the moment, as things stand as far as the weapons go, you're confident that he used a shotgun. It's possible that he used another weapon. You're not absolutely sure, and you don't know what that other weapon would be. Is that right?
Yeah, we're still processing the scene. So we know that there was a shotgun used. Absolutely. 100%. We know that for sure. So.
I'm sorry, this is already asked. Do you have like survivalist training or
We cannot find any evidence that he has had any type of survivalist training. Now, he did grow up in from what we understand, he did grow up in a arborist family, and that they climb trees. And we did have reports that he was shooting at first responders via a tree. So he does have experience climbing trees.
I also just wanted to clarify, you had said in the previous press conference, you were talking about misinformation Can you elaborate a bit on what that misinformation was? And I guess it felt like you had said families were finding out via Facebook.
Yeah.
I wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, so what happened, firefighting and EMS channels here in Kootenai County are not, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not encrypted. Law enforcement channels are encrypted. So pretty quickly, there was audio of the help call that came out and was broadcasted on social media. And that is just really, really hard on the families. Had they heard that, and I don't know if they did or didn't, but had they heard that, they would be able to identify their voice of their loved one and just make a chaotic situation more chaotic. So that's one of the.
I just want to be clear. None of the families were notified through social media. They were.
I don't know. I wasn't involved in that part of it. Yeah, I do not know. Lady in the black there.
In terms of just the timeline, I know that you provided us with one already, but where does that interaction, that first interaction with firefighters fit there? They have that interaction. How soon after that is there gunfire?
There was an interaction. So they arrived on scene. The initial call was about approximately 1:20. They arrived on scene. I'm going to guesstimate, but I would say probably about 13:50 or about 10 minutes until 2 o'clock. Somebody, go ahead.
One question I have is, you mentioned when you were doing welfare checks, what were those interactions like? Was the suspect just acting normal? Was there anything off about him at all during any of those interactions? Was there anything that stuck out for those?
Yeah, he cooperated on each one. He was told that, hey, the owner is asking you to leave. He left. There's certain criteria that we have to meet to be able to engage in somebody's well-being, and he did not meet that requirements at the time. So, yeah. Jeremy?
The shooter's body, is it in a condition where we can determine if there's any drugs or medication in the system?
That'll be part of the autopsy, yes.
Do you know how long he was here in Idaho, and also just, I know this is like a popular recreation area, so how many people, just members of the public, may have been up there during all of this hiking and just enjoying the day?
Well, it is a popular trail. As far as how many people actually, Lieutenant Klinkefus, do you have any idea of how many people might use it's like 25 miles of trail up there.
Yes, sir. On a Sunday afternoon, there could be a couple hundred citizens up there. Folks use dirt bikes up there. They hike, mountain bike, e-bikes, very popular. I don't know exactly how many were there at that moment. There could have been several hundred on the mountain at that time.
Were they rescued? Were law enforcement jumping and helping rescue them and get them out?
There were people that were still coming down the mountain, and this is at approximately 30 hours, or about 3:30 yesterday. So people were still coming off of the mountain. So.
Sheriff, did the Instagram photo that or the story, that you gave us, was his Instagram deleted? His social media has been wiped now, is that by your doing, or what was?
Preliminary information is that we believe it has been wiped, but we don't know by who.
Okay.
Yeah. The lady in the rust color.
Can you tell me what sort of role federal agencies played in what played out yesterday, or would you have been able to do this without them, or?
Yeah, they were very, very helpful in providing assets, providing ground assets, and providing aerial assets. Like I said yesterday, we did have 2 helicopters that had a sniper in them. They were very, very helpful in real-time location of the suspect's phone. That was very helpful. And they were there not to take over anything. Each one of them came up to us and said, hey, what can we do to help? We're here as a resource. So we believe they were very, very helpful.
social media posts that are now no longer online. Of course, we've got this Instagram story, but we can't see those posts now.
Right, yeah. Like I said, it's either they've been removed or the account has been deleted. So we don't know. We know at one time it was there, but now we know it's gone. So I don't know what previous posts were there.
Sure. Has the suspect's family been contacted, and if so, are they cooperating with the investigation at all?
The suspect's family knows of the situation, and they're still processing the situation also. Yeah.
Sheriff, is this the camo outfit that you guys found him in?
No, this is a previous post.
And then has the ATF been able to help you guys pinpoint, like, when he had that shotgun? Have you guys been able to trace back where he bought that shotgun?
We haven't got there yet, yeah. Like I said, it's still pretty hot up there, but we'll get all that information. We just don't have that as of right now.
How concerning is it to have snipers in the air when you've got people who are recreating up there coming off the mountain? How do you deal with that?
Well, it does provide a challenge in the rural area like that, but obviously we would not. We want them to identify the target first before they took any action. But it was an active shooter situation, and we have radio traffic where there was an exchange of gunfire between suspect and deputies. So we want to make sure that we have target identification before we use any type of lethal force. So.
Are you more convinced that he acted alone today than you were yesterday? And can you describe? We've heard that the fire was closing in to the scene. His body. Can you describe?
Yeah, they said that the fire approached within 50 feet, and at that time it was a determination was made that we should probably remove the body and take what we can, and then remove from the area. So that was the decision that was made at the time.
So you're going through a crime scene right now that has been burned over by fire.
Yeah, it's not the perfect situation, but sometimes you have to make the best choice, and that was the best choice at that time. All right, anybody?
Just a clarifying question. Was he in the tree when he talked to the firefighters who asked him to move the car? Could you sort of walk us through, sort of make that cut?
We don't believe he was in the tree at the time, but we believe that he engaged deputies from the tree.
And you mean gunfire?
Correct, yeah.
Last night you mentioned that there was a belief that he could be running from spot to spot. Has that been determined that he was moving actively across the mountain?
Still under investigation. You know, we want to make sure that we do a complete search of that area, that there's no guns left over. So still under investigation. And
then, is there anything you want the public to really understand about this, or do you want them to not do, or any kind of notice?
Well, we're still processing the whole situation, but until the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department and the Kootenai County Fire Search and Rescue, until they put out a press release on where to give, I would encourage people to wait for that. There is one particular entity called they just changed their name, but it's called Kootenai County Red and Blue Line. I know them for a fact. I know that the board of directors do not take any money from them whatsoever, but I can anticipate we'll probably have people that are going to take advantage of this situation and try to scam people out of money for it. So I would encourage people to wait until there's an official press release from both of those entities on where to give.
Sheriff, really early in the wildfire investigation, is there indication that he lit them in multiple areas, multiple spots on the mountain, or does it seem to have stepped in one spot?
Yeah, right now we're still trying to contain it. It's not contained at this time. So until we can get it contained and get some investigators up there, then we just don't know at this time.
Sheriff, there are 300 people. There are reports 300 law enforcement involved.
Yep.
Is this a war zone up there? How many shots were fired?
Well, we don't know exactly how many shots were fired at this time, but at the beginning of this event, we knew that it was tragic, and we knew that there were reports that there were multiple shooters. Whether that turns out to be or not, in an operation like this, you always want to plan and prepare for the largest event, and then it's easy to scale down. But if you don't prepare for the larger event and you need more resources, it's not a good situation. So the train of thought is always prepare for a larger event. But in this particular case, an active shooter in a rural area, that just provides a lot of different challenges. And I know that Captain Heil, part of the strategy was that we're going to protect that west side of that mountain because that's where the homes are. And we're going to have probably triple as many personnel on that side. And if he wants to go east, or if he wants to go in the fire, let him. But there's a lot of different dynamics that you have to consider in a rural containment and a rural active shooter. Jeremy, do you have any questions, or do you have anything you'd like to add on how the challenges of what happened?
No, unless there's any specific question.
Okay.
Sheriff, we often hear about cell phone data being used after crimes to determine the locations of people. Were you guys actively, for lack of a better word, pinging him as the crime was unfolding?
Yes.
I hate to, go backwards a bit, but I did see deputies hugging each other and patting each other on the back when I was out there. I'm just kind of wondering what the mindset of your office is right now, and I guess how those first responders are doing after all this.
They're in shock. Yeah, absolutely. It's they're in shock and they're still processing it. Yeah, yep, they're in shock.
Is there anything in particular you guys are doing for them right now?
Well, we are going to support them in anything that they need. Obviously, getting the families together and to determine how they want to memorialize their loved one, and we will be there to support that.
And a follow-up to my pinging question, sir?
Sure.
Do you have emergency agreements with cell providers for that kind of capability?
Yes. Yeah.
And what do you do to enact that? You just make a call and say, we got to do this, and off we go?
There are certain conditions and requirements that need to be met, but this was certainly one of those cases. Yeah.
How effective were the drone units during this whole process?
The drone units were very effective. Each agency that helped us out had their own drone with different capabilities, and in the end we were able to locate and verify where the body was when with the drones from the different agencies that were here.
Your name, sir?
Jeremy Heil, Captain.
Spell the last name.
H-Y-L-E.
All right. We'll take two more questions.
Sheriff, I may have missed it earlier, but what exactly was his connection to Kootenai?
We just don't know. We don't know. We know that he was a transient here. We knew that he lived here for the better part of 2024. But as far as when he got here, why he was here, why he chose this place, I don't know. He has relatives in the Priest River area, but I don't know why he chose that. We don't find any nexus to anything else. Maybe we'll find more once we do an inventory of the vehicle, but as of right now, we don't know. And then one more question.
Are you able to confirm whether or not the firefighters who were shot were the ones who spoke with them, or are you able to?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming out and sharing this story with the public. So thank you.
Sure.
Interesting. We did get some new information in that press conference. We're going to take some of your comments on the air about it. No motive for the shooting. You know, the one thing I wanted to go back to is early on he said something about where the shooter was from. And he said there was a California, I'll have to rewind it, but I want to take some of your comments on the year. But I mean, a couple of the big things we heard. So he said that the shooter was at the scene, and after he set the fire, and the firefighters went up to the firefighters go to the scene to fight the fire, and when they get there, he has like this conversation with them. He actually interacted with them, a discussion of some sort. They said they thought the discussion was about maybe his vehicle, where it was parked. And then about 10 minutes after that, he shot at the firefighters he had been talking to. So they said that. And they said he shot from a tree. I got to post that. Idaho shooter shot at firefighters from up in a tree. Right? That he did say that. Right? He said it twice. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. He said it twice. He said in a tree twice. Yes. That's what they said. Hold on a second here. Because he said that obviously the press conference started. Let me fix that. Idaho press conference post coverage. So he said that the shooter's family, the shooter came from a family of arborists, he said. And he said that the arborists would climb trees. An arborist, according to the internet, professionals specializing in the care and management of trees, shrubs, and other woody plants. So his family he came from a family that worked on trees. And so they said that him and his family knew how to climb trees. And they said that he fired at the firefighters from a tree. That's what they said. Yeah, I can replay that part again, but I am absolutely sure I heard it because he said it twice. I have to find the exact moment where he said it though. That part is worth replaying. Hold on a moment here. I have to just find it for you. Hold on. Hold on.
People actually, and fire office to make sure that it appears that he shot himself. Yes.
I think it was after that part. It was kind of late in the press conference.
He did contact the fire with info, so what we call open source information for frequent the area on the property.
Can I find it kind of quickly? Let's see.
Heavily brushed. What was reported? That's what we always refer to this, when we have a positive idea. Still, we had an individual call. The film in the blue used is a pretty big projectile. The pigmentation of something, you're still processing. Don't change back and forth. The trucks, and we just don't, how it's printed to see what's credible, definitely.
Can't find it yet. I found it. I found it here. Here it is. Here's the part where he talks about the family of arborists. I found it for you right here. Let me get it on the screen for you. I have to do it this way. All right, there it is. And then I have to say replay of press conference. Okay, so here's the part where they talk about him knowing how to climb trees and firing from a tree. But there was another time when he said firing from a tree. Here, so hang on. Here it is right here.
He did grow up in a, from what we understand, he did grow up in a arborist family, and that they climbed trees. And we did have reports that he was shooting at first responders via a tree. So he does have experience climbing trees.
And then later he was asked about that, and he said yes. Yes, as Melissa says, at the very end, he was asked, and he said he shot at law enforcement from a tree. I don't know exactly where that was, but I know I heard it twice. Also, I want to take some more comments from you guys. What else did I notice? He shot himself. He did want to be a firefighter. They got that information at some point, but they don't have they don't know if that's connected. They just don't know about a motive right now. They said that they had seen some of his social media posts. He held up a picture from his Instagram, which I couldn't really make out. Oh, I can show you that. I'll show it to you real quick. But he said that the social media had been wiped, but he didn't know by who. So, I mean, maybe that just means it's pretty regular. It's pretty common for the platforms, I think, to remove if there's a shooter, if there's a highly publicized shooting incident. A lot of times you see the platforms remove the social media profiles. But I don't know who did. Let me see. I want to clarify, because some people are saying he shot at first responders from a tree. Let me just see. We gotta go back and look at the tree, both of the tree things to make sure what he said. Let's get the second part of where he talked about the tree thing.
Maybe we'll find lives in the Priest River area. I don't know when we just don't know. Two more questions. The transient here, we don't know. HY, where we're one of those cases. Or how they want to.
I need to find the second tree reference.
Consider if he wants to go east, probably west, a lot of different case. But if you don't prepare for the larger event and you need more,
I don't know. The second one was pretty quick.
still trying to tease on where to get and try to. You're not. I know them for a fact. Red and blue line. They're Bill work investigation, and we don't want to make sure. We believe that he engaged deputies from the tree.
Oh, yes. All right. So he says deputies. He says engage deputies from a tree. But he also called the word deputies. I believe he might be using deputies to refer to firefighters, because at some point he was asked how the deputies were doing, and he talked about how shaken up the deputies were, and the deputies were deciding how they were going to memorialize the firefighters who were killed, which suggested to me that he was using that word to refer to firefighters. Here, let me play this right here, though. Hold on 1 second here.
We don't believe he was in the tree at the time, but we believe that he engaged deputies from the tree at the time. But we don't believe he was in the tree at the time, but we believe that he engaged deputies from the tree.
The question was, where was he when he talked to the deputies?
Perfect situation, but sometimes you have to make the best choice, and that was the best choice at that time. All right, anybody?
Just a clarifying question. Was he in the tree when he talked to the firefighters who asked him to move the car? Could you sort of walk us through, sort of make that cut?
We don't believe he was in the tree, but we believe that he engaged deputies from the tree.
Yeah. So he wasn't in the tree when he talked to firefighters. And he said he engaged deputies from the tree. I think he was referring, when he says deputies, to the firefighters, because he did not distinguish when talking about it. So as I take it, by deputies, he means the firefighters. So now the firefighters on the radio, when they called it in, they didn't know where he was firing from. So anyways, that's how I took it. That's how I took it. Anyways, let me take some more comments from you guys. I'm going to post a clarification here. Hold on a second. Let me do something here. Okay. I amended my post on X, because I had said on X he shot at firefighters from the tree, and now I have it saying that he shot at people from up in a tree. And then I said it's unclear if the sheriff meant he shot at both police and firefighters from a tree or just at police from there. It was a little unclear. Anyways, let's get past that. So, oh, I wanted to check. The firefighter said, the sheriff said he came from, he said, I don't know if he gave a whole detailed background of the suspect, but he said he had a background in California, right? What was that part about California? That guy.
NORRIS. A fire update of where the fire in there has been identified as Wess Roley. Date of birth of May 1st, 2005. As of right now, and this is all very, very preliminary, we've had a lot of resources at the crime scene. We've been working through the night, so many of these facts are subject to change. We believe that Roley has prior residence in California, Arizona, and Idaho.
Okay.
We believe he was born in California.
Born in California.
The Kootenai County Sheriff's Office.
Okay, born in California. I think some people online today were saying he was born in Russia. Well, they just said he was born in California. They're not aware of any kind of criminal record that he has. Okay, there's that too. Because I had seen a report online claiming he had some kind of criminal record. In the press conference, it said they could not find a criminal record for him. They did say they had some engagements with him. They talked about times when they were called to tell him to move his car. They thought they suggested he might have been living in his car. That certainly was, it sounded like they thought, without getting into the specifics of what he said, rewinding everything. I believe at one point they said they thought he was living in his car, and there were times in the past when he was living in his car and he parked it somewhere he wasn't supposed to, and then like the business owner would call the police and they would come out to talk to him about it, and he'd move his car. They also said, the sheriff also said there was no link to Islamic Jihad. That is the language he used. No link to Islamic Jihad. Yes, as DG said, they said that the suspect was, in the past when they had dealt with him, he was cooperative. Johnny says, yes, they thought he was living in his car. I don't believe I'm going to be covering the fire department's. I guess some viewers said the fire department's giving a presser at 4. I don't even know that I would have video of that. But also, I mean, I don't think I have video of it. First of all, second of all, I don't expect to have a lot more from that on the actual incident. I think where we will get the most about the incident is this press conference. Yeah, there's the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department is having a press conference in 1 hour and 8 minutes. And they say the purpose of the press conference is to identify the slain and injured firefighters. That's the purpose of the press conference. We will discuss how each department plans to handle the overwhelming outpouring of community support as well as donation information for the respective firefighter families and departments. I need to watch time because there is a decent chance I will have to cover tonight a vote on the big beautiful bill tonight. So I think because of these various considerations, And also, I don't have any. I don't know that I'll have any video available of that press conference. I'm probably not going to be on for that press conference. I apologize, but that is the choice I am making. I do not right now have access to any video coverage of the press conference. Oh, one of the viewers said that they posted a picture on the sheriff's page. Is that true? I'm looking. I don't see it yet. Hold on. I just looked at the Kootenai County Sheriff's Facebook page and did not see any new photos there. Oh, somebody asked about the part of the press conference where the sheriff held up something from the shooter's Instagram that they had found. Yeah, I was going to just play that moment again. Hey, by the way, a couple quick thank yous here. Let me just thank a couple people. Thank you to Nai Boo Bun, Shelley in Amsterdam. Thank you, Rod Rillichan. Thank you so much, Rod Rillichan. I really appreciate your support. Beam Me Up says, I found it interesting that he had a conversation with the firefighters before the shooting. Yes. Thank you, Beam Me Up 321. Thank you, Debbie James, for the gift memberships. Thanks, Alexander Great, for your support. And shout out to our moderators who are here. We have moderating Beth Mythical and Ruth over there on YouTube. Thank you so much. And on Facebook, Kay Lowry Body and Margaret Riley moderating over there. Thank you. Also, thanks to our Twitch moderators, LB Prairie Don, Matthew Kohai 3, and also thanks Jen Ufer for subscribing on Twitch, and HR Puffin Stuff for subscribing on Twitch, and Fivin for the support on Twitch, and thanks for your support, and Linda Belk, Larry, and Misha are moderators over on X. So people wanted to see, yes, here's the part where he talks about the guy's Instagram.
We do have some social media presence for for Roley. I find it disgusting to call him a Mister, but we don't have any much to go on. Here's some of his social media postings that were recently removed from social media. I believe this one was Instagram, and we have some copies of this that Lieutenant Mark Ellis will distribute.
Yeah, I don't really, if you guys want to like analyze the image, you can rewind this broadcast and you can freeze it and then you can blow it up on your screen. I'm not going to do that here, but this is should be a rewindable broadcast for you. So you can check that out. Now one of our viewers said that, a couple of our viewers are saying that there was a small photo in that image of a Bjork album. I couldn't really see it. Oh, one of the viewers, it's a big photo and then a small photo. And one of the viewers said, some of the viewers said the small photo is of a Bjork album. But I also don't know when exactly that post was from and what it was referring to. He didn't say that post was about the shooting, so that post might have nothing to do with the shooting, just to be clear. But you can, there is a Bjork album, it looks like, I just looked it up on Wikipedia, and I believe that the small photo in the Instagram post, The little photo, it's hard to see there, is of the Bjork album. It's called Homogenic or Homogenic. Is it homogenic or homogenic? It's on, there's a Wikipedia page for it, which I'll post a link to, and you can look it up. Homogenic. I have no idea why that photo is there in the post. No idea. I don't know anything about the album. So. Anyways, what else was noteworthy in the press conference? So again, they thought he was born. He's believed to be born in California. No criminal history they could find. He killed himself at the scene. Oh, there was this interesting bit of information. The police said that deputies, the police at the scene, when the shooter was not in custody, and they didn't know how many shooters there were concerned that one or more of the suspects could get into one of the vehicles and drive away. So the police at the scene pushed his vehicle over. They said over the side of a mountain. They pushed his vehicle over, and then they said they disabled fire trucks by slashing the tires, because a reporter said, I saw a fire truck, I think he said, with 3 slashed tires. And then the sheriff said, well, we disabled the fire vehicles because we didn't want any of the suspects getting into the fire vehicles and driving them away. I mean, that's what they said. So that was a whole thing. And yeah, Emily, our viewer, says his vehicle may have had evidence in it. They have not inventoried his vehicle yet. So they think they might find more stuff in his vehicle relevant to this. But the vehicle, they said the fire got within 50 feet of the body. So they just decided they had to move the body, and then the fire swept across the crime scene. So they have to go back to his vehicle and go back to the crime scene. If you missed the press conference, you can just rewind. You can rewind and play the whole thing. It's here, so you can just rewind and play it. Factory Reject says, take the keys, slashing tires sounds like some Gen Z thinking. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they thought, you might say, well, why did they slash the tires? Why not disable some other way? But maybe they thought the guy, whoever the person was, would know how to start the thing up, would have special skills or something. I don't know. But no motive yet. They have no motive. They don't have a motive. I do wonder. They said he came from a family of arborists, which are people that take care of trees for their work. And they said he fired on at least some of the people from a tree, some if not all of the people. So did he have like some kind, if I were there, now that I can think of this, an interesting question would be, did he have some kind of special equipment to sit in the tree? Like, and I think, I'm guessing hunters have this kind of thing where there's some kind of like seat thing you could bring up into a tree. Am I right about this? I feel like I've seen videos where people do this. But my point is, did he have some kind of seat thing that he could bring up with him in the tree and kind of just sit there? You know? One of our viewers says ropes and harnesses. Chaz says tree stands, people are saying. Tree stand or climbing stand. And so I wonder if he brought that up with him when he was just using it. A tree stand, Wikipedia page. Oops, Wikipedia page. Tree stand tree stands or deer stands are open or enclosed platforms used by hunters. Now, maybe he had something like this that an arborist would use. secure trees in order to elevate the hunters and give them a better vantage point. So I'm just wondering if he had something, small that would let him sit up in the tree or something, or stand in the tree. I'm not sure. The antique action figure says they are pretty portable. But DJS thinks it's possible, but a little bit of a stretch. Well, I mean, again, I assume he would know about these things, given that he's from a family of people who works in trees. So, Milford says, I just sit between two large branches. So I can't say how he was up there, but or what he was doing up there. Oh, I can post a photo. Sorry. I'll post a photo in the chat from social media of those of you who want a better shot of a close-up shot of his social media post. I just posted it in the chat for you. Hang on a second here. Hey guys, some of you mentioned this in the chat. Thomas Medina, our viewer, messaged me about it. Brian Enton, who is a reporter with News Nation, is reporting that Brian Koberger, who was the suspect in the murder of a number of college students in Idaho who lived together, if I have that right, if I remember it right, he has accepted a plea deal. According to Brian Enton, he in exchange for him pleading guilty to committing the 4 murders and serving life, the prosecution will drop the death penalty. So again, that is from Brian Enton, who's reporting that there is a plea deal under which Koberger will plead guilty and serve life in prison, and the death penalty will be dropped. That is from Brian Enton of News Nation. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, News Nation is reporting that now. ABC News is reporting the same thing. ABC News says Koberger has agreed to plead guilty to the murders of all counts in the deaths of the 4 college students in Idaho, and he will not get the death penalty. TMZ is also reporting it. Fox News is also reporting it. So many outlets now, multiple outlets reporting about this plea deal. Yes, if you didn't see the press conference, you can rewind this broadcast. Rewind for the press conference. Thanks, Kevin Young, for messaging me about it as well. And Mystic Maximus and some other viewers messaged me about it. Thank you. Missile Hatch says if no motive was presented, shooter may have been framed with a real shooter getting away. Well, I'm pretty sure that I am certain that that law enforcement has evidence tying this person to the shooting. I'm sure there's lots of evidence. If they just found a dead body out there at the scene, and there was no evidence linking that person to the shooting, they wouldn't be saying that's the shooter, and they wouldn't lift the shelter-in-place order. So, I'm certain that they have a bunch of evidence that ties him to the shooting. For example, maybe the ammunition he used, maybe they can tell that it came from the shotgun that they found next to him. They did say it was shotgun. Yeah, the firefighters did talk to him. We know he's obviously in the area, but I'm just saying, I'm guessing they have other evidence besides that even. So I'm sure there's plenty of evidence they have. Our viewer Rita says everything that would normally be out there about the suspect has been scrubbed. And she sent me some site where there's a bunch of things missing. I don't know if it was there before, wherever this site this was. I don't know if it's a LinkedIn or what. Thank you, Rita, for sending that in. Thank you, by the way, Dave Hoffner, for your support. I appreciate it, Dave. And again, the shooter, they said the shooter the shooter of the Idaho Firefighters, he shot himself and killed himself. What else did I want to look up here? Hold on one second. I'm not aware that law enforcement has released an official photo of the suspect, but they have identified him. There's a bunch of photos floating around online. I have to imagine that they're legit. But none of them has come from law enforcement. So I don't have one from them. But if you look online, you can find a bunch of purported photos of him. Okay, let me just take a few more comments here. Again, if you missed the press conference, you can rewind and watch it. Oh, I was going to ask about the shotgun thing. They said he had a shotgun, right? So I don't know what kind of shotgun he had. So I don't know how the reloading worked on it and how much time between shots was required. Yesterday they did say they thought he had a high-powered sporting rifle, I think they said. And they also said that they were taking rapid fire. If I can find it from the earlier report here. So I don't know enough about, well, let me see something here. Yeah, high-powered sporting rifle was what it said. They said yesterday. So Now, Chop Suey says a shotgun is called a sporting rifle. So I don't know enough about weapons to say whether that's a significantly different characterization of the weapon than yesterday. But yesterday they used the term high-powered sporting rifle, and today they use the term shotgun. Strategy Soup thinks he probably had a semi-automatic shotgun, which means you would have to press the trigger but not do anything else. Guys, yeah, we already, for those of you mentioning it in the chat, we already discussed the Brian Kohberger plea deal. I already posted it on my X account. I would suggest, if you're interested in breaking news coverage, follow me on X at Lookner. I'll put the link in the chat, but I always post there when I'm off the air and when I'm on the air. So yes, as we discussed a short while ago, multiple outlets report that Brian Kohberger has accepted a plea deal under which he will not get the death penalty, and he will plead guilty to the murders of the 4 college students in Idaho, which was, I forget the exact month and year when that happened. For those, 2022 in July. No, 2022 in November is when it happened. So yes, that is being reported by multiple outlets. Joshua Wark says, people saying shotguns are only effective at close range have no idea what they're talking about. And I don't even know how far he was away from the firefighters when he was firing at them. Bundy Data says, I hope the prosecutors are allowed to show all the evidence they have. Maybe we will get more evidence being released from the county. Foz says one of the firefighters on the scanner mentioned a shotgun. Okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to start wrapping up this stream. If you missed the press conference, you can rewind it. I need to get off the air. I need to eat something because we may have to cover, I'm assuming at some point I'll probably cover the vote on the Trump big beautiful bill, but I don't even know when that vote's going to be. So I just need to prepare to do that. So I'm going to get off the air. But again, if you missed the press conference, you can rewind the stream and watch it. I really appreciate you guys being here. Oh, by the way, some people in the chat are saying the ceasefire has broken. Every single day, I think it's 3 or 4 days in a row now, I see social media stories claiming that the ceasefire has been broken. And I will say that every of the past days before today, those were all false. I have seen it every single day. Lots of frantic shouting posts on social media about how the ceasefire has been broken. So if you do see random social media accounts claiming it today, I would hold on a second and not believe it right away, because I've seen it every single day. So I will keep a lookout for things, but I have seen it every single day. Unsourced accounts, and just end up not being true. So I will keep an eye out for developments from the Middle East. If there's big developments, we can certainly do a stream about it, but be careful with that stuff. All right, so, we're going to wrap up the stream. Again, if you haven't seen the press conference, feel free to rewind and watch it, or watch it again. And I really appreciate you guys being here for the stream, and I appreciate all of the comments people have been writing in, and the questions, and people sending me stuff on social media. So thank you for that. And we will have more coverage. We very well may have coverage tonight of the vote in the Senate that's coming up on the big, beautiful bill. So if you like live breaking news coverage without an agenda, subscribe, follow Agenda Free TV. We cover all kinds of live breaking news without an agenda here. And turn on your notifications. I can't tell you in advance when we're coming on the air all the time. You know, things come up, breaking news happens, we jump on the air. But we have a free notification system. It works awesome. You sign up once, you get sent a notification whenever we're going live. It's really reliable. To sign up for the free notifications, the mods will post the link in the chat. You can find that sign up on YouTube and Facebook in the description for this video too. So make sure you sign up for the notifications and subscribe and follow the channel. But I really appreciate people watching, and also huge thanks to our moderators who have been here. They are fantastic. They are the ones keeping things respectful and under control in the chat. Over there on YouTube, people like Ruth, Beth Mythical, BZ, thank you so much for moderating over there. Linda Belk, Larry, Misha over on X, moderate for us. On Twitch, Bot King Sentient, LB Prairie Dawn, Matthew Kohai 3, Mick Britches, all of our other mods there. Linda Bell, sorry, not Linda Bell. Kay on Facebook, Kay Lowry Body, Margaret Riley, and all of our other Facebook mods. Huge thanks for modding over there, and thanks to everybody who donated during the stream. That is super nice of you guys. I think I got everybody. Let me make sure though. That is how this channel stays on the air, and also allows me to buy news footage and stuff like this press briefing today. Thanks to Lady Asylum for subscribing over on Twitch. Thank you. And let me just make sure I got everybody, but I appreciate your support for the channel. Mark Thompson, thank you, who says, I don't understand the logic to flatten the fire department tires, but pushing the subject's vehicle down a ravine, unless that's what caused the conflict to start. So again, if I remember right, and you can check the press briefing for this, you can rewind, is police said that they didn't want one of the suspects, if there was more than one, or just however many suspects there were, they didn't want anybody to get into one of those cars and drive away. So they pushed over his car. I think they said over the side of a mountain, but I don't think it was a cliff. So the car is there somewhere, but it's been pushed over, and they said that they had punctured the tires of fire engines. That's what they said. So you can go back and watch it. It wasn't a big part of the press conference, but that's what they said. So, but some of our viewers, like Mark, were wondering about that. Thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate it. Let's see. Oh, I will post updates on this story and other stories as I do on my X account, which is @Lookner. You can follow me there for breaking news. @Lookner on X, and I will post a link to that in the chat. And also another good, if you're on X, you might want to follow Agenda Free TV, because I always post there when we're going live, and I post updates about the channel there. Agenda Free TV, @Agenda Free TV on X. We have a chat too, where you can chat with other viewers when we're not on the air. A lot of our viewers really like doing it. It's free. It's on Discord. Check out our Discord chat. It's the same link as to sign up for the free notifications. So check out the Discord chat. Thank you to our Discord mods for all you do as well. And, for those who watch on YouTube, I would suggest turning on the YouTube notifications. Another good way to find out when we're live, but it's a little confusing how to do that. If you want to turn on the YouTube notifications, what you need to do is subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and then you click this bell and you choose all notifications. So if you subscribe, click the notifications bell, choose all notifications. That is how you turn on the YouTube notifications. Oh, thank you to Malin Hustvedt from Norway. Thank you. Yes, as we have mentioned a couple times on the stream, reporting says that Brian Kohberger is going to plead guilty to the murders of 4 college students in Idaho in exchange for not getting the death penalty. Thank you so much from Norway, Malin, for your support. I appreciate that. Hey, thanks to our Twitch subscribers over there who support us by subscribing on Twitch, like Jack's Animals, Wall Street, Shaggy, Matthew Kohai 3, let's see, Remove Glazers Snow, Massachusetts Guy, One in the Sky, Lag Kills, Annie Cush, thanks for subscribing over there. And Yellow 1177, who says a shotgun is not a rifle. That's what Yellow says. CC143, who thinks the mom's Facebook is being scrubbed. Some of you said you saw the family social media sites. I have not seen those, but maybe they'll take them down. I'm not sure. Thanks, Little Pinkus, our subscriber, Artful Nothing, and CRTW, Park Tracker 1, I forgot to ask about this. I'll really quick ask about it. A Park Tracker said a shotgun with slugs. I'm not a specialist on the ammunition, but the police discussed the ammunition that was used. They said it was like 1 ounce, 12 gauge, but I don't know if there was something. I'm not a shotgun person and an ammunition person, so I just don't know. But maybe one of you caught specifics about that and we're discussing it. So I'm sorry, we didn't discuss that before. But you can go back and check and see what they said. Rifled slug? I don't even know what that means. Hang on a moment here. 1 ounce of lead. I don't know if it's like what it looks like, what that ammunition looks like that they were talking about. It's a big bullet, says Justin Hayes. It spins. So some of our viewers are talking about it. Shrimp GE says it's like an enormous bullet. Anyways, I forgot to talk about that before. Top Shelf Oats says it's like a giant bullet essentially can take down a rhino. Spins the slug to stabilize, says Chris N. It's a mean round. 1 ounce of solid lead. Anyways, if you missed it, you can go back and check it out. They talk about it in the press conference. So sorry we didn't talk about that more, but I need to eat and get ready to do the next stream if we do it tonight. All right. Billy Hopalov says they're made to take down big game. Hold on a second here. Okay, so thanks for that information. Clara says used to hunt bears. I want to thank our Facebook. Thanks Paul Anderson for moderating over on Facebook as well. Thanks, Paul. Thanks to our Facebook subscribers like Kay Lowry Body and Margaret Riley and Christy Claft and Robert Rial II. Thanks for subscribing over there. LT, Julie Cantrell Smith, thanks for subscribing on Facebook. All of our Facebook subscribers who support the channel, thank you. And also, did I say Margaret and Kay Lowry Body too? And also, thanks to our YouTube moderators. I already thanked our moderators over there. Thank you. Our YouTube members like Wickedest Witch, Tina, D1, Darth Tater, Eric Johnson, Black Star, Paul Tissue, Bernard, Tapey, Evelyn in Maine, PZ Wheats, Logan's Run, UV Lightning, JK Senar, Jane Jones, I Love Etna, Mr. Devs, Hidden Shin, Chris Lee, Terry Rose, CAC 813. Thanks for being members. GeoXSys, Matthew Schumacher, Flannel Fox, Ann Breedenstein, Paul Tissue, Allison Fowler, Post Apocalypse Wildflower, Minxie, Bernard Tapey, thanks for being members. JP Villu, Gigi's Kitties, Marian of Fuss, and all of our other members, Joel the Farmer, Terry Rose, Mr. YouTube, Lambo, thank you, and all of our other viewers as well. Thanks for watching over there on our different platforms. Billy Hopalove, thanks for watching. Juliana Martin, and Mark Emmy. All right, guys. I thank Golden Tarkus and Mr. Clam, our subscribers over on Twitch. Thank you. Simpnasky Scrimp, thanks for watching. All right, so we're wrapping up the stream. If you missed the press conference, you can rewind the stream and watch it. We very well may tonight at some point have coverage of the Senate voting on the tax and spending bill. I need to get off and look into that. I'm not sure when that would happen. It's very possible we'll cover that. Anyways, that is it right now. Thank you for joining our live coverage. I do want to say again, as I said yesterday, certainly condolences to the families of those 2 firefighters who were terribly shot and killed. And we didn't actually get an update, I don't think, in the press conference about the 3rd firefighter. Last we heard yesterday, he was fighting for his life in stable conditions. So let's hope that he survives and improves rapidly. Okay. Thank you, Valhalla 2015. Valhalla, as I just mentioned, some people in our chat are claiming there's stuff going on in Iran. And as I haven't had time to look into it, as I said, the last few days, every single day, there have been lots of posts on social media claiming that the ceasefire had been broken, and none of that has turned out true as far as I'm aware. So if there are posts about something going in Tehran, I haven't had a chance to look at it. I will look into it. I would be careful with any kind of posts on social media that are unsourced, claiming that this stuff is going on. I'll just have to look into it when I get off the air. If there's huge news coming out of the Middle East, I will certainly consider doing a stream. But thank you so much for your support, Valhalla 2015. I really appreciate it. I don't know that other report you're talking about. I haven't heard it. I'll have to look into it. I'll look into it when I get off the air. Thank you, Valhalla. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and we will see you soon with more live breaking news coverage right here at Agenda Free TV.